Hi everybody, house update, sort of slight house tour stroke update, which I've been promising for ages. We've been in the house for almost a year now. I think there's 2 weeks to go and then it's a year. And even though I feel like we haven't done very much, I think we've actually probably done quite a lot. This video is in two parts, however, because a couple of months ago I hit a massive trough I sort of got performance anxiety with any house stuff at all, or interior stuff. And I think it's because there's so much content online to do with interiors and style and styling your home. And most of it, or a lot of it, isn't really my taste. And I started to think maybe I'm odd. And I just didn't really want to, I don't know, I felt it was really difficult to make decisions on stuff, which is why we don't have lights in most of our rooms. So anyway, I was fortunate enough to have a visit from one of my interior and design idols, Martin Waller. Martin Waller was one of the founders of Andrew Martin in the 1970s. Andrew Martin is the most amazing design company or brand, and they source just incredible pieces of art and furniture and everything you can think of for your interiors, fabrics and wallpapers, and he is sort of like an interior design god, really. So I couldn't believe it when he came to Somerset to help me with a few of my, I suppose, design insecurities. That's the word I'm looking for. So before we go room to room looking at all the things that I've done or haven't done, here are some of the main things that Martin said to me, some of his advice and tips, and they apply not just to me but to everyone, about finding your style and really helpful pointers on where to start if you're feeling overwhelmed by the whole task of redecorating or redesigning a room, a house, a flat, wherever you are. So let's have a little look at what he said and then we'll go around the house and have a bit of a tour. Because I am here with legendary, can I say legendary?
You can say it, it doesn't mean it's true.
There's a phrase that I want to use which I read in the Telegraph. Interiors designer extraordinaire Martin Waller, and he has been called the Indiana Jones of the design world, which I imagine you quite like.
I do, you know. It's almost an excuse to wear a hat if I didn't look so ridiculous wearing one.
But I thought I would tap him up for some information, both for myself and for you, because I feel that interiors now, it's this big, it's become huge online, hasn't it? And you can get there are so many resources and Instagram pictures, and I feel like it's not even that helpful sometimes. It's more of a hindrance because it makes you petrified of doing the wrong thing. Well, that's how I feel personally.
I think it's important to know that there's not one right answer to any decorating problem. There's a whole, taste is a very broad church, and you have to find the thing that's right for you. The reflection of the personality thing is exactly right. Every home should be about the people who live there. I think actually looking at pictures, as with any subject, the more studying you do, the better you get at it. And looking at pictures is very helpful. We've got a much more educated and savvy interior design world than we had when I started back in the 70s. So it helps to find things you like on Instagram and Pinterest and so on, and also things that you don't like. It's very helpful to think, right. Oh my goodness, that white wall looks very harsh, or that dark brown wall looks very gloomy. Whatever it is, just as much what you like as what you don't like. We do know what we like deep down. I mean, it's like fashion. You find something that you wear that you're comfortable and reflects the way you feel, and you should follow your heart. You know, okay. I mean, I think there's certain elements that you have to start with when you're decorating: color, pattern, texture. These are the things that you need to have on the top of your list. I mean, color probably more than anything else, and that might just be neutrals. Everything you might want to do everything in neutrals, or you might want to introduce a bit of color, and that's really the first thing you want to.
You said paint last, paint the walls last.
Well, because I think it's easier if you have everything in your hand at once and then you choose the paint last, even if you know the direction you're going, paints come in thousands of colors. I mean, it's one of the great luxuries of our time, how many paint shades there are. Carpets come in very few, and fabrics a few more, but not many. So you can always find the paint color. But if you've started with a paint, it may be harder to find the carpet and the fabrics.
Could we come up with, do you reckon, in time, a set of questions that people could almost analyse themselves to come out with? It's almost like they've got a virtual interior designer there.
I think you could.
We should work on that.
One more thing to do.
Yeah, sorry. I'll put that on our lists. But in terms of somebody, if they were sitting there, they're in a blank space, the sorts of things that they should be sort of teasing out of themselves are maybe looking at pictures and deciding what they like, what they don't like.
There are simple things like, are you a very tidy person or are you a very relaxed and casual person? If you're sort of relaxed and casual and like lots of stuff all around the place, then white is not a good colour for you. It's very unforgiving.
That's me. Can you summarise what you think my style is in a few sentences? Or is that really difficult?
It is difficult, but I think family is key to the issue. You know, you have to have some. This is not like a bachelor pad. So,
although I'm trying to make parts of it like that, I think.
Yeah, I think that's long. That ship's long sailed. You know,
I'm fighting against the grain here.
We've got dogs and cats and children and a dad, all to kind of bring into the mix. So,
yeah.
Life is what underpins design.
So I probably need to relax a bit about the whole thing.
You do.
Thanks.
Okay, so master bedroom. Rather a bright little throw on the bed there. Really haven't done a lot in this room. I mean, we bought a bed and I've got my amazing Andrew Martin doll's house. It's actually a wardrobe, but I am going to make it into a doll's house. So look, here's my problem at the moment. That is a 1/12 scale washing machine and fridge. Open up my little fridge for you there. See? There's a little bottle of cleaning spray there. Look, flash kitchen spray. The sort of true to scale ceiling height for a doll's house of that scale would be sort of 9 inches, maybe even 10 inches for the ceiling height. But as you can see, that's quite a lot more. And this, I mean, at the moment, we're on about 16-inch ceiling height. Just my little panda Halloween mask there. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting a joiner to sort of make a false inside for it and make rooms that are to scale. So it'll have the right size ceilings, and I want to have dividers here with doorways and maybe a staircase. So yeah, that's going to be a little while in the making because that's not the most straightforward of tasks. But when that's done, it's going to be amazing. In my dressing room, I have moved this, which was in the hallway. This is a vintage French shop display with these amazing glass-fronted drawers. So you can put things in the front of the drawers. The person who I bought it off, they'd styled it up with feathers and pom-poms and loads of really cool stuff in the front. Look at those drawer pulls, handles. So yeah, this just came in yesterday because I knew I was going to be shooting this video, and it's been sitting in the hallway for a couple of months. So I need a mirror to go on top of there, and I think I just love it. But the rest of the room, there's not a lot else I can do in here really. I'm going to need a light. And I'm going to change over all of these handles. I thought that would be a really good way of jazzing up this bedroom, dressing room really easily without too much fuss. So change these for, I don't know, some really pretty, they've got amazing ones at Anthropology, really pretty sort of glass handles. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to tell you was, I don't know whether you follow my Instagram, but I was getting a massive influx of ladybirds into the windows. And so what I did, they were all coming through the gaps, I stuffed it all with tissue paper, look, toilet tissue, or bog roll as we call it in the UK. Angelica's room is the only room really that's had any thought put into it whatsoever. Really, we had to start it because she was moving from a cot into a big girl bed. I got the bed from the White Company. The armoire is an antique French one, like a linen cupboard. It's got the classic chicken wire front look. What else? That was from Vinterior as well, that chest of drawers. Vinterior I am obsessed with. I just love it. I buy so much stuff from there. So they do mid-century modern stuff and they also do antiques, which is perfect for me because I like a bit of an eclectic mix of both. Actually, I'll show you a couple of rooms where you can see what I mean about mixing up the styles. So it's really traditional style, but then I've got 1960s, I think they're called Doria glass lights. So there's a real mix there. And then I suppose the mirror's quite modern as well. And then in here, in the living room, hold on a second. Let me just open these curtains here. So we have some progress in here. But look, again, traditional sort of features, architectural features, but then mid-century sort of lights. I love these lights. Those were from Vinterior as well, but they're new. So this is an Archie Shine rosewood chest from the 60s or the 70s. And that is probably, I think for the moment, going to swivel round and be that side of the fireplace. And then I have a matching one that will go that side of that fireplace. So it will be really nice and symmetrical. I don't know whether I'll keep them there. I'm not sure. But we have them and they fit. So it's like, let's give them a try and see how it goes. Carpet is amazing. This is from Brintons. They came and shot some marketing stuff at the house and I just absolutely love it. I mean, I think once everything else is done and all of the right furniture's in here and stuff like that, it will really sort of come alive. But it's just so much nicer than having a massive expanse of plain carpet. So you can probably see in the background that there is a different sofa there. Our old Sadie sofa is here, waiting to go. We can't decide whether it's going to be reupholstered and reused here or reupholstered and sold. But we've had that for about 15 years, maybe a bit longer. And so in the background, you can see a lovely new sofa. That is from Arlo and Jacob. And I think it's called the Cartwright sofa, but I will double check. And it's sort of like a cross between a traditional sofa shape and just got slightly modern elements to it, but it's really, really deep. So it's half a day bed almost. And actually, the fabric that I chose wasn't one of the Arlo and Jacob fabrics that you get when you walk into the store and they've got them all hung up and then you can get the little swatches of them. I didn't realise this, but they also do bespoke, so you can choose a different fabric and they've got loads of books of different fabrics that you can choose from if you can't find anything in the initial swatches. And so, I mean, they've got a massive variety of different fabrics and colours, but you know, sometimes when I knew exactly the colour that I wanted and they didn't have it on there. Beautiful photograph above my sideboard, but behold, behold, behold. Ta-da! That is a Samsung frame television. I discovered these televisions because I think that they've come out with a new one now, and I don't think it's as good personally, but it depends what your tastes are, I suppose. This range they made because it was specifically supposed to look like artwork in a gallery, and then it turns into a television. So you can choose the frame that goes around it. They've got different, they call it a bezel, so you can get white, black. That is walnut, and then they do a sort of lighter wood, like a piney ash
sort of frame as well. And it is so convincing. Look, I don't know whether you can really tell because it's on camera, but if you didn't know it was a television, honestly, we've had so many people fooled. And then we've got curtains. We had curtains made for in here. We used a local firm called Windsor and Hill and two lovely, lovely ladies that come around and do all the measuring and all the fitting. And these wall lights all the way around, they are from Floss. We've got an amazing sofa from Sofa Workshop coming that's going underneath that window. So I'm just waiting for that, but that should be here hopefully before Christmas. And that is in a gorgeous, actually very similar shade to the curtains. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that is going there, and that's a very traditional design of sofa. So I'll update you with that when that arrives. And then I think a coffee table here. So we're making two sort of different zones, and then there'll probably be like a snuggler chair or swivel chair at those bits so that they can go either way and you form like two different zones in the room. I think the main thing with a through lounge, is that what they're called? Where you've got like a double length room, is that the part of the room that's next to the door just ends up being the corridor for the rest of the room, doesn't it? And when we bought it, and actually when we came to look around, this part of the room had a piano there and then not much else. And it was just like, it felt just like a sort of wasted, spacious corridor going into the living room proper. And we didn't want that. We wanted to use the entire space. So it was actually Martin's idea, said that, you know, you need a sofa down this end, you need to create two different zones because you can't have one long living room because the focal point of that living room is sadly the television. But you can create another sort of seating area here. So this is going to be the more grown up one. And then finally in here, so I've bought a few things from Andrew Martin now, but I think this is my favourite. This is a lenticular. I don't know whether you've heard of a lenticular before. From one side, it has one picture, almost like a hologram, I suppose. And then if you look at it from another side, it shifts. So this is like an X-ray of Superman. And I just think it's amazing. Wasn't ever planning on filling my home full of what is probably classed as sort of pop art. But there we go. Let's just trip over the hobby horse that's on the floor and break our necks. Kitchen, haven't done anything because it didn't really need anything doing to it. So the only thing really changed in here is to make it really, really messy. Put loads of this sad gallery up there. You've got to treasure them all. I mean, what's the deal with kids' paintings? Are you allowed to put them in the recycling? Or do you have to keep every single one? Because I swear to God, she goes to preschool, she comes back with 4 paintings at a time. She only goes a couple of times a week, but that adds up, I can tell you. I'm not going to take you into behind these rooms because it's just, Mr. AMR's office is incredibly messy and full of all of the bits and pieces that I don't know where. Oh, I'm going to show you the cherub mirror though. Full of bits and pieces that I don't know where they're going to go. And the utility behind there, honestly, is giving me hives. It's that disorganised. Okay, so dining room, which isn't actually going to stay as a dining room because it's a whole other video. There are building works afoot. So this, which is a dining room, will not be the dining room. And we are currently having huge marriage-threatening arguments over what this room is going to be. So I've got my piano in here, and I would like to have my books either side of that window, and just have like a really amazing, snug sort of stroke playroom. Somewhere that's attached to the kitchen where you can throw the kids and you can keep an eye on them, but you can be cooking or whatever. Because if they're in the other one, you can't really keep an eye on them. However, we might have to take a vote on this as well, because please be on my side on this one. I'm begging you, don't take sides with Mr. AMR. He would like this to be a snooker room. Now I said, why not go the whole hog? Put a dartboard up on one wall, or you could have, you know, in the pub when they used to have those display packets of the peanuts and then it had a naked woman behind it.
Why not have one of those and we can hang it on the back of that door, look. And that would be really nice. So that light I got from Vinterior. That is a 1950s or 1960s vintage light. The dog in the corner, the balloon dog, is probably not going to stay. I feel he's a bit lost there. He's actually huge, but he looks tiny in that corner. He was from Andrew Martin. And the most amazing carpet in here, look. This is why this can't be a snooker room. This is also Brintons. So beautiful. He'll kill me for going in here. But let's just sneak through. I won't actually show you his office. But look at this mirror. Isn't it gorgeous? Look. So I really want it in my dressing room, but I think it's a bit overkill. So I'm going to probably try it out in the living room where that cream mirror is and put the cream mirror upstairs. We'll see. How are you, Doodle? And finally, this is the room that I'm using as my shoot room. It was it's sort of like a studio, I suppose. It was Ted's bedroom when we first moved, but it was really, really cold in here. It's so beautiful, this room. So it's got views out over the garden that way and then towards the back. So it's just lovely. It feels really sort of green and part of the outside. But in the winter, it's absolutely freezing. We looked and it was 4 degrees colder than the next coldest room, and it was about 10 degrees colder than his room is now upstairs. So no, I mean, he was a tiny baby and we were like, let's get him out of here. But his loss is my gain, because now I use this as my studio. I've got my background for shooting makeup. Look, I'll zoom in and show you how I do it. It's not actually the right camera, but so you know, when I do my lipstick shots and makeup videos and stuff like that, that's just against that grey. Tricks of the trade, people, tricks of the trade. Nothing really that's done in here, but I feel, as in with the rest of the house, this is actually even more difficult because A, I have to work in here, as in I have to shoot, so I have to consider what's going to look good in the background, what colours will look good, what colours will photograph well. So there's a bit more to think about, whereas the rest of the house, it's just like, oh, what do I like and what goes together? What do we like? Slip. That was telling, wasn't it? Thanks for watching, everyone. I will do another update if you're interested in house stuff. I'll do another one in a couple of months' time when more stuff has been done. But let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.